So just to backtrack here, so I asked you, Dakota, what your opinion is on feminism, and you asked what that is,
Yeah.
and we've established that you graduated high school early with accelerated learning classes,
Mhm.
implying to some degree that you're either a good student or a gifted learner, yet you don't know what feminism is.
Yeah, I don't know what the definition of it is. No.
And we've also established that despite you being a good student slash fast learner or whatever, hearing the word feminism used contextually has not given you like an inkling as to what it is.
I've only heard the fucking word like 2 times, man. No, I haven't established
So
what it means by that.
so is your head just in the sand like 365 days out of the like do you read the news?
No,
You don't read the news.
no. The only news that I keep up with is stock news.
So it was stock news when you linked in the server that 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 kind of uprising thing that was about to break out in whatever fucking state it was. You linked that in the server and you were like, damn, shit's hitting the fan, guys. Like, was
Say
that
what?
I'm gonna go use potty.
What did you say?
you linked a news article in the server in the past
About what?
about some guy didn't want to give up his guns and people were arming up.
Oh, yeah, about how old boy told the cops that he'd start the next civil war because he's not taking his guns or whatever. Yeah, what about it?
Was that under stocks in the U.S. Times or?
No, that was on U.S. Army What the Fuck Moments on Facebook. A little group that they have for the military dudes.
So you just don't read the news unless it's like from a Facebook group.
I barely look at that one. I don't read news at all, to be honest with you.
Why?
I don't know. A lot of it's bullshit that I don't care about.
So you just decide that instead of like reading that bullshit that you don't care about, you're just going to remain ignorant to the bullshit that you don't care about, right?
Say again?
So you'd rather remain ignorant to the bullshit because you don't care about it than read about it.
Yeah, it's not worth my time.
It's not worth your time. But you know this stuff is like still happening regardless of whether you care about it or not, right? Like its
Yeah,
existence doesn't depend on you paying attention to it.
obviously.
So we've established that you can't learn words when they're used in context situations.
Dakota, what do you think feminism is, if you were to guess?
Something to do with females, but again, I don't know what exactly.
Okay, well, go out on a limb here. Take a drastic guess. We won't hold it against you.
I don't know. I don't know how you want me to guess. You guys haven't given me anything to go off of at all.
Why do you need something to go off? Just what could it possibly be, dude? Like,
Well, okay, so it depends. If you're going on, if you're breaking down the words fem, obviously female, and then ism, it's probably like some religious thing about females, but that makes no sense because I've never heard of that shit.
so communism is like a religious thing about communes, right?
No. Okay, I lied. It can either be a religious thing or it could be a political thing. Which one is it?
Can you say that again? I didn't hear you. That was the good part of the song.
It could either be a religious thing or a political thing. And you guys haven't told me which. You guys just refuse to tell me the fuck.
So communism is a political thing to you?
Is it not a political thing?
Well, it's a form of like it's an economic system.
That
It's
is
not a
rooted
political
in.
thing. Political thing would be socialism. We were talking about communism.
Yes, generally they go hand in hand.
Generally, okay. So I guess we could backtrack and say you don't really know what communism is either. You said you did, but you just proved you kind of didn't.
No, I don't know every little detail about communism because I don't care.
Well, it's
about
not a little detail. It's just the essence of it. Like, what is it? You know, is it an economic system or a political system?
I don't know, and I don't care.
I'm not like a betting guy, but if I were a betting guy, I'd be betting that you're just saying you don't care because you don't know. And
I just said I don't know and I don't care. I'm admitting to not knowing.
I know, and I'm drawing the correlation. You get what I'm saying? It seems like you just don't care because you don't know, and you don't know because you don't care is one thing. That's not what I'm saying here. Like you can't just
So Justin.
not have knowledge on certain subjects or claim to have knowledge on these subjects, and then when someone points out something that you may have thought that was incorrect or something, you say, "Ah, well, I didn't really care about it anyway." Like,
Did I not just say, yeah, I guess I don't know and I don't care? Which means I'm agreeing that I may be incorrect in what I thought I knew, but I also don't really care about it either. Does
is
that
there
make
anything
sense
you
to you?
don't know that you do care
What,
about?
Romeo?
I said that was a
Yeah,
close one.
I'm in military intelligence. Half of my job is to care about things I don't know. But when it's not something to do with work, no, generally I don't care about a bunch of shit
So,
because half of the reason I get paid is to know shit that I don't care about.
so how are you in? Do you understand why someone might take
Sorry.
concern with a person being in military intelligence and not knowing what something like feminism is?
I guess. It's just not something that we as a military combat, so I've never had to learn about it. Sorry, dude.
But it's not what it is. It's the fact that it's a basic thing that most people, anyone I think, would know about. You're saying you don't know about it, which leads me to believe like what other basic stuff do you not know about? And this is all compounded by the fact you're, like we said, in military intelligence.
Well, there's probably a lot of things in the world I don't know about.
There's probably a lot of things in the world that I don't know about, but I know what feminism is. I know things in that sphere of knowledge. It's called, common knowledge. And I'm also not in military intelligence.
Okay, that's great. I could probably say that I know a bunch about computers that you don't know. What's your point, man? And then to me, that's common knowledge because everyone that I work around or interact with knows those things. So it's all relative, man. Like, and,
I'm not saying it's not all relative, but contextually, you can't figure out what feminism is. You've tried twice, or so you say, and you still haven't really landed on what it is yet. You haven't really clutched that one yet. So how are we supposed to be convinced that you can contextually figure out computer issues or something? Like, it's
well,
the idea of learning
most of
stuff
the
in
time,
the
it's not
context itself.
contextually. In this sense, if I ask someone a question like, "Hey, what happens if you do this on a computer?" They'll tell me what happens instead of, "Oh, well, you don't know, you're a retard." That doesn't really happen.
Right, but the difference is these computer things aren't being discussed as current events, news, and hot button topics for the past like 70, 80 years. Like this isn't like feminism is some like new thing that came up like recently along with the iPhone. Like this is like it's been around. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Have I been alive for that long?
I don't know. You've been
You
alive as
passed a
long as
history class.
yeah, you've been alive as long as the rest of us.
More than
Okay.
Justin, also. About 3 years more than Justin.
Right. So I'm just not really understanding here how you cannot know what it is. Like,
Okay.
does that not kind of concern you? Like that everybody else here knows what's and not just knows, but intrinsically knows what it is. They've never had to think about it. They've never had to Google, what is this? It's just like it's known. It's like common knowledge, but it's not common knowledge for you. That doesn't like kind of concern you.
No, not really.
Why? Why?
Because I don't care about it.
So it's not happening because you don't care about it. You're saying, right?
That is not even close to what I said.
So
How
then
can you
it's
not care about something that you don't know? You figure things out, then you decide, oh, this isn't something I care about, and then you tune out of it. How can you
I don't
not
know.
care
I
about
don't
something that
care.
you don't understand or know?
I don't care to learn about it. Is that a better way of wording it for you?
Well, it's not like sure if you knew the basic like simplicities or the common expectation of it, you don't even know what the word means.
Hmm.
So, if you don't know what it is, how do you know you wouldn't care about it a lot?
I don't care about what the fucking word means. Doesn't mean I
Yeah,
don't
but
care about what it does. Sorry, allow me to reword. I don't care about learning the word. Doesn't mean I don't care about what the word means.
okay, well
I think.
it's the same thing as what Mike was saying with the workouts where you were like, "No, you need to know the names of the workouts." Like you obviously don't like
Yes, except for the differences is he's partaking in these things, and I partake none in anything that revolves this feminism, and
you
so
partake in being alive and like being like understanding kind of just some of the world maybe. I
yeah,
mean, I feel like as someone in like the armed forces, especially like someone who's in the military, kind of like is supposed to set an example for the country, you should understand some like basic kind of like things
yeah,
that are
in an
imperative to what
kind of sense,
defines America, civil rights movement, all that.
yeah, we
But are you
don't.
just walking through life as like an anomalous like shadow? Like stuff goes like through one year, phases out the other. Like I'm baffled how you don't know this stuff. It
Okay.
it kind of makes me wonder like what conversations we've had as a group where you've just been sitting there and like it's just all been like it makes me think you're just sitting there not understanding anything we're ever talking about when we have discussions. But at the same time, anyone listening to those conversations would contextually start to realize what the words mean, even if they didn't immediately know it. So that kind of leads me to think: is there like a learning disability here? Something you haven't really told us about you that would make this make more sense? Or is this just one of like life's biggest mysteries? You haven't learned what something like feminism is after living on this planet for how many years? Like it's almost like you'd have to go out of your way to not learn the definition of it. Do you get what I'm saying?
I suppose.
Is that what you did? Did you go out of your way to not learn the definition of it?
I heard it twice in my life, man. It's not like I'm avoiding it. It just doesn't come around.
So you've heard it twice in your life. That's a pretty specific number. How
I'm
do you know
giving
it's
you a
exactly
guesstimate,
twice?
man. I'm giving you a guesstimate. I don't know how many times I've heard the fucking word. I'm just
All
saying.
right, so you don't know how many times you've heard the word, but you've only managed to hear it twice. So
That
if
was
you walk into a
no.
diner and CNN's playing, do you just immediately tell them to shut it off? Like, no, I don't look at the news. No current events for me. No, shut it off. Like
No,
I
I
don't
just don't
understand.
watch it.
You just don't watch it, but like the words are still being spoken. So do you turn off your ears?
Have you
Could
ever talked to someone in a diner? Do you listen to everything that's going on?
you
No,
watch
but I've been to a
movies?
lot of
You
diners
ever
with a
watch a
lot of
movie, watch a television show,
Yeah,
read some books?
read plenty of books. Yeah.
Okay, this stuff like feminism feel is a pretty relevant topic and is named in pretty much everything, like every form of media. Like it's kind of like the step below racism and sexism in terms of relevancy.
Do you know what
Okay.
racism is, Dakota?
Yeah, I know what racism is.
Good job, buddy.
Do you know what sexism is, Dakota?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Let's why don't we do this the easy way? Let's draw up a list of just basic definitions. Nothing's too simple. Don't take anything for granted. And then Dakota just goes down them and checks off what he knows and what he doesn't know.
I'm not doing fucking homework for you guys.
That's not homework, Dakota. That's catching up to like the base knowledge of the world. When I was in this accident and I lost like all my muscle mass on my right arm, like I'm not working out to like get buff. I'm working out to get back to the same level everyone else is at. It seems like you're not at the same level that everyone else is at, and we feel like we have a duty to help you.
That's
You get what
great.
we're
I
saying,
don't care.
right? But we care.
Okay.
I mean, come on,
Again,
man.
I'm not doing homework for you.
You're in the military. How do you like? How do you justify defending our country if you're not going to take the time to learn this basic stuff?
It takes very different skills to kill people than it does to
Kid,
fucking
you're not
survive.
out there with a fucking knife, fucking Taiwanese knife fighting out in the fucking desert trenches. You're intelligence, right?
Yes, that is part of my job.
Isn't
So,
that your main
so
job?
it's not like you're a Navy SEAL sitting there focusing your entire like you are. Your job is to be aware of things, be good at taking in information. Correct?
That is part of the job, yes.
Okay, does that not apply to your like real life skills?
Well, of course, but there's because that is part of the job. A lot of the time, I just try not to take in anything at all. I just want passive entertainment in my off time, just because you're so focused all the time. It's like people who work on cars sometimes don't like working on their own. You know, same deal.
Right, but this is like if you were a
This is your
food
mind,
taster.
though. This is your brain, not your
Right,
car.
it's like if you were a food taster for a living, you wouldn't like stop eating once you went home. Like this is basic stuff. It's like saying like, oh, I use my brain in my job, so when I go home, I turn off my brain. Like people who work on cars for a living and then get burnt out from it, they don't. They may not work on cars as a hobby, but if they need an oil change, they're not gonna take their car to a mechanic because they are a mechanic. They're gonna just do the oil change. You know. And this is the same thing, but on a much more basic level. Just because you need to absorb information for your job doesn't mean you stop absorbing information throughout the rest of your daily life. Like,
Yeah,
and it makes me
no,
like
you're right.
it sounds like
I
this
don't
has been happening
stop
before
absorbing.
you got this job. If you really never heard the word feminism before you got this job, it seems like you weren't absorbing information before, like you got quote unquote burnt out on absorbing information. Which makes me think, how are you qualified for a job where absorbing information is the primary goal of it when you haven't been doing that for like the entirety of your life?
I don't know, man. Ask the government.
I mean, I'm asking you.
And I didn't hire myself, so I don't know how to answer that.
You applied for the job, though.
No. I went to a recruiter. He said, here's a test. I did his test, and then he told me to pick a job. And then I picked Intel. That's how that went.
So you picked Intel. So you chose the job.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the same like you applied for the job. That's what I said, isn't it?
Kind of, except for when you say apply for a job, a lot of people will think that you have to go through the interview after that. But
You made the conscious decision that you wanted to do Intel. Am
yeah,
I okay?
yeah, that's right.
So similarly to applying for the job, you're putting yourself out there and saying, "This is something that I'll be good at. This is something I'll excel at." Am I
No,
wrong?
that's wrong. I picked the job for the security clearance and the certificates that I'd get for free.
So you chose a job that you knew you would be terrible at it because you got security clearance. What good is
No.
security clearance though if you can't absorb information? Like what are you gonna do with it?
Uh, what do you mean? I've been doing my job for 4 years now, and no one's said anything wrong. Matter of fact, I have plenty of medals. Like, I don't know what you're looking for here.
So you can absorb information. You're just like playing with us right now. Like this is all a joke.
No, I just have not cared to learn about this one particular word.
One particular word. It,
The problem with this, Dakota, is the concept of the word, the meaning of the word. This isn't just about you knowing the specific word. Because if you knew the concept or the stuff behind the word, you would know the word too. There's no possible way you know all the meanings and stuff, but you don't know the word. So that means you're just completely ignorant of this giant aspect of life and social and political climates and a media relevancy and just like human rights.
Maybe, or I actually know about all of that, and I
There is no way you would know about all of that and not know the word feminism. That's like knowing all about slavery and all fucking living in Detroit, then moving towards like working on anti-gentrifying neighborhoods and working with black people and fucking just all this shit, and going to civil rights movements and wanting to impeach Trump because of his crimes against black people, and then being like, man, I've heard the word racism 2 or 3 times. I don't know what that means. And you do not know the concepts, and if you do know the concepts, then this was just an elaborate ploy for you to get us to tell you our definition of feminism before you make an opinion.
Okay.
So which one?
I don't know, man.
Was it an elaborate ploy that backfired, or was it that you don't know the concepts behind feminism?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I will read you the definition of feminism.
Okay.
Tell me if any of this rings a bell. Noun. The advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of sexes.
Yeah, we go through a class about that shit.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're fucking with us. I refuse to.
No, I'm dead serious. We
No.
go through a class on it, but you don't call it feminism. You call it equal opportunity. That's what we've heard it as.
That's
There's a 0% chance you've been through a class and like know about equal opportunity and all this, and have been alive for 20 plus years and are still somehow ignorant enough to say, no, I don't know what the Dakota. Let's say you are sitting in a fucking. You're with someone you want to impress. You're eating dinner with someone you want to impress, whether it's a boss or a pretty lady, and they say, "What do you think about feminism?" What are you going to say to them?
Saying I don't know what the word means, but can you please describe it to me?
I
I
th-
have no problems with telling people I don't know things.
But
yeah,
that's such a.
but this is like,
Wait, don't go in.
that's like you go to a restaurant with someone,
Oh,
you
go
get
on.
your meal, and you're like, "What is this? How do I use this?" And you point at the fork. Like, you may have no problems with doing that, but I guarantee you, people are gonna think you're challenged in some way. Like I'm flickering in between 50-50. Like, this is some elaborate ploy, you're fucking with us, or you're like legitimately mentally challenged, and like we need to be like doing something to help you. I it almost sounds like you're proud, like you don't know what it is, like it's a mark of pride for you. Like yeah, I don't know basic current events or definitions. What is that like? What, why, dude?
Why what?
What do you mean? Why? What? Did I not just say a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, which part? Why to which
What
part?
do you mean? Which part? All of it. How about that part?
No, I'm not proud. I just don't know this thing. Like I said, I've always heard it as equal opportunity, not feminism.
Equal opportunity is an argument that's argued by feminists and by the ideology of feminism. Equal opportunity
So,
stems from feminism.
and so feminism is an ideology and a group of people who advocate for it.
Advocate for what?
Feminism. You
Yes,
just said
but
it was an
you
ideology.
but you also have to. Okay, then what is feminism, Dakota?
I don't know. That's what I've been trying to get out of you guys. What he just said was, or what? Sorry, what you said was, the equality amongst sexes. Correct?
Yes.
There you go. Like I said, I've always heard that as equal opportunity.
But it's not the same thing. Equal opportunity applies to way more than just the feminine and the masculine. Equal opportunity.
It also has races, national origins.
Yeah. So it's not. I don't get your point. You're hearing something. You've heard this feminism concept as either this thing that is an umbrella term that covers feminism, or this thing that is an aspect of feminism. This isn't the same thing.
Okay, I just go off of the description that you read to me, and then my prior experience hearing about these topics.
Romeo, follow me.
Let's just go back to Orgmar.
We're going. Yeah. Armand shot himself.
I'm here. Trying to erase the implications of the last hour from my brain.